Happy Monday, everybody. It's Molly here, and I'm so excited to be going live tonight with the one and only Pamela McCoy of PamelaMcCoy.com. That is actually her website where you can find everything. But one of the reasons I wanted to come on here tonight was to talk about her B5 Reaffirm experience and the content that comes with that. But it's really not even about the content, but it's about this getting yourself together, doing the program, doing all the things that you need to do when just not really feeling like doing it. And when I say doing it, I mean life, loving yourself, getting
Mhm.
up every day when you're a boss babe and you got to go and you got to believe in yourself and you got to just stay true to you. And especially right now during the holidays, because we all know that when the holidays begin to set in, when it should be a time of like peace and love and joy and happiness and celebrating the reason for the season, somehow we get so caught up in things that aren't even really anything to do with why we celebrate Christmas. And as a mom, as a business owner, as somebody who's just out here trying to put people together with other people, there's no time like this time right now to introduce you to someone who can really help you navigate this space and understand yourself. So I'm here with Pamela, and we're just going to dive right in it. You know, I got to say thank you. I got to say thank you for the moment in which we met because you had no idea what I was going through, but you knew enough in the presence of spirit to know that I might actually need your services. And we just had a kismet connection that day. And you did something for me when you didn't even know, but you knew what you had to give me, and I received it. So,
Mm.
having gone through your program and doing the book and doing the interactive handbook and just following the steps and the whole box that you send, let's just go right to it.
Oh, Molly. Oh, thank you so much.
Listen, woo! Don't get
Uh,
going over here on a Monday because I just love you, girl.
And I love you right back. I mean, you're right. When we met, it was serendipitous. Like it was kismet, like you said. It was just this organic connection. And as I like to say, hashtag GISCC, God is so crazy cool. Because you're right. Like I had no idea. I had no knowing. He just always knows. And I believe in his divine orchestration. I don't believe in coincidences. I believe he's always orchestrating, right? And to your point, people have to just be open to one, when he says go, we're obedient to going, but then the recipient has to be open to receiving, right? So God bless you, and I'm grateful for that. And we've just been connected ever since, right? You just have such a warm spirit, a giving heart, just a lovely person. um, so I've enjoyed our budding friendship and kinship and all of that. um, but as you were saying, that this holiday season, they say happy holiday, right? But it's not always happy for everyone. It's not always a joyous season for everyone. And particularly because we're on the heels of coming out of COVID, right? A lot of people lost loved ones and all of that during COVID. And so it's not always a joyous occasion. And so we just have to be very cognizant of that. And I always say during my speaking engagements during this time of the year, we have to be very intentional about being intentional about checking in on people, right? And reading between the lines when people say, "Oh, I'm okay," are they really okay? right? Because some people aren't at the point yet in their journey, on this journey that we call life, that they're comfortable with the reality that it's okay to say I'm not okay. And so, oh, I'm blessed and highly favored, right? And all of that. Yes, and they're trying too hard to put on that face, that facade, that they're happy, that they're joyful, that everything is okay. And so we, the people, their surrounding, their village, their family, their friends, their neighbors, we all have to be intentional about really seeing them. And I always say, this is who people are, not the body, the packaging that they're in. Their heart is who they are. And so we have to see their heart, right? And to be able to know, even though their mouth said that they're okay, did their heart agree? And if not, then we need to, really check in and, hey, are you sure you're okay? Do you want to talk? Do you want to go out for a cup of coffee? Do you want to come over? Right? Those kind of things of being intentional about being intentional of caring and loving for one another. So,
Well, I have
yeah.
to say, on that note, you're definitely that person. There's been multiple times where I was supposed to call you or we were supposed to connect, and it's like this past year, so many things just kept coming in, coming in, coming in, coming in. And it's like I felt like my brain was so, so, so scattered. Like I know that I'm working now towards doing what I say I'm going to do. If I say I'm going to call
Hmm.
you, I'm going to call you. If I answer a message or you send me something, I want to be more intentional in returning and sharing that same love, because one of the things that I realized was one of my biggest things in relationships, be it friendships or a relationship, was reciprocity.
Hmm.
But it wasn't until I met someone who said, if that's your biggest thing, you have to do that. Do you
Right.
think that you are reciprocating exactly what you want or what you think should be in the relationship, be it in
Hmm.
friendship? And I said, you know what? I'm not, because I'm letting other things that are not as important get in
Hmm.
the way of what I value,
Right.
which is those true loving relationships. But I'm having to go back into my workbook and go back into the things that I know that someone like yourself can help people do, that's applicable to every day in order to really streamline yourself. Right.
Right, right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And for those who don't know, like she's referring to the B5 reaffirm, the B5 reaffirmation box. And that really was what I refer to as my assignment from the big guy, right? It was a complete download from the big guy. It's a mission of mine. And with that assignment came a big number, 1 million females that I need to introduce to this really it's not even the program so much as it is the meaning, the purpose of the program. And that is to let females know their value, their worth. For some is to teach, for others it is to gently remind them of the reality that each one of us, we were born on purpose, with a purpose, for a purpose, right? And if you have not yet found that purpose, then that's part of the journey, is to discover that, to find that, um, but to not give up along the way, right? And to not let these external things, it's called self esteem, right? So we need to focus on the self part of that esteem and know and realize that though it's nice to have what I call the cheerleading squad, other people, giving us positive inspiration, kind words, and all of those things, at the end of the day, what is most important is what you think and how you feel about you, i.e., again, the self part, your self worth, your self value, your self confidence, and building that. And if you're not there yet, that's the whole purpose of the B5 Reaffirm program, is really to take each participant on this journey of discovery, this journey, and the journey's called I'm Me. And I'm me, and those who know me know that I like to do a lot of acronyms because acronyms help people to remember. And that journey of I'm me is that emphatic statement that I'm me. That's all I can ever be is me. And so I need to focus on and put all my energy in being the best version of me that I can be. But it's also an acronym that stands for improve my mental esteem. And that's the journey, right? And I intentionally say journey and not destination because the reality is we never arrive. We're all a work in progress. And so you alluded to that each day we're working on that, right? But we have to acknowledge that each day is a new day for us to work on that. And so it's not that, oh my gosh, today I didn't do it, I didn't, because you're not going to, right? Because tomorrow's another day. We each have to work each day towards this goal that we won't ever accomplish, but we have to be very cognizant of putting in the work. And that work is loving self. Because as much as we throw that word around, if and until you really, really, really love you, then you can't love anyone else. And when I work with women, females, right, young and old, so I've implemented this program for girls, I like to say 12 to 13, to
Mm-hmm.
my sassy seniors in their 70s and beyond. Because really, self esteem is ageless, right? It's not, oh, this thing you go through as a teenager and you outgrow it. No, no, no. We all, that's the reality. We all struggle with or suffer from or deal with self esteem. Men, women, young, old, fat, skinny, blonde, blue, black, polka dot, pinstripe. It doesn't matter your zip code. Doesn't matter how much money you got in the bank account. Doesn't matter what kind of car you drive. None of that. It is self esteem. And so we all struggle with it. It's just a matter as to what degree. And that degree depends on your starting point, right? And what's going on in your life. So today you might be at ground zero. Tomorrow you might be at a scale 10. It doesn't matter. We all are going to be at different points, different times in our life. But acknowledging that that exists is the first thing, right? And that we all suffer. So then what's the first acknowledgement? I'm not alone, right? It's not just me. Everyone struggles with that. And so the difference, a 17-year-old, the reason why they're feeling the way they feel might be different than the reason why a 77-year-old feels that way. But the feeling itself is identical,
Right.
you know? And so, if you don't address it, it doesn't go away. So you just aged another year. You went from 17 to 18 and so on, and you look up and you're 77, right? If you didn't address it, it's still there, right? And so we just really need to be cognizant of that. And let's all work on it, right? And if we're all in this together, we truly are all in this together, and we are our brother and our sister's keeper. And my assignment was 1 million females, but that's not to leave the males out because they too have the same struggle. My assignment was just females, but I do some work with males as well on this journey. Um,
Well, one
and,
of
and
the things that I have always said, and when women come into the dressing room, right, and we say we're not allowed to use the following words: fat, old, ugly, or I used to be.
I like it.
And for me, when I get these young people, and obviously the bra is the catalyst that gets them in my store, but Let Us Lift You Up is so much more than just a bra fitting.
Mm-hmm.
It truly is about relationships that I have built or experiences that I've been through so that I can relate.
Mm-hmm.
However, my area of expertise is not what you do. So I started doing these nightly meetings and podcast interview session, if you will, because it really doesn't have a name yet. I'm just throwing it out there. But I'm doing this because when they say I used to be or all these things, instead of sitting in the mirror looking at themselves and self-loathing or not loving themselves in that moment, and after it's done and they feel better, I know that there's still some transformation that needs to happen. So
Mm-hmm.
that is why it's so important. And it wasn't meant for us to do this prior to now, because I really didn't understand the magnitude of what I had done with you and why I wanted to be able to introduce people to all the different women and men that are experts in their subject matter. But I wasn't really understanding or ready yet to know why was I the person to put people together that might need this help. So now I really understand it, right? And I wish that I had started this long ago, because the number one thing that I tell people all the time, especially young girls, is I do not wait. I do not want you to wait until you're in your mid 40s to walk with confidence, love yourself, be armed with the tools that you need to wake up every day and say, be it is the I ams that you do, or for me, I kind of had to transition that into, once I realized what I was, I had to start focusing on pushing out the I am nots, because
Mm-hmm.
I still would look at myself, and it didn't matter how many positive affirmations I had on the mirror to say I am this or I am that. I had to really shove out and say I am not this, but I am this. But I started off on I am, but I realized that while I was pushing the I am in, I still had not released the things that I still thought I was. So I started really pushing on the I am not.
Mm-hmm.
And by doing all these different things, and it's been a little over a year, I finally feel so free. I feel so free. Like, and I'm ready to let people know what works and what worked for me. But I know that your formula and the box that you send, no matter what you're going through, is very applicable to everyone, irrespective of circumstance.
Yes, it is divinely. It was a divine download, and he always knows, and he's not a one-dimensional God, if you will, right? He knows all. He knows everything, and that's why it's so appropriate. It's so funny you were talking about used to be's, and I was like, oh, you know what? That sounds so. In one of my books, on page 3 of the my first book, there's something about used to be's. It says. Used to bees don't make honey. Right, if you used to be, it don't make honey.
Yes, yes.
So you
Used to
decide
be.
who you will be in this moment. um Dear past, thank you for my lessons. Dear future, I am ready. So used to bees don't make no honey. Right.
Yes,
And
I
then it
have
says,
this. It's so
if you're
funny.
so we were on the same page.
Yeah.
Literally, right, about that. So yeah, in my first book, I talked about used to be's. But yeah, so the B5 reaffirm that in the B5 reaffirmation box, it is truly um, a gift that keeps on giving. Um, it will help you focus. It'll help you remember. It will teach those who need to be taught. Um, Really, some life lessons along the way. Uh, so I'm really excited about the journey. And so when I launched that, when I got the assignment, I say I've been journaling since then. So that too will be a book about that whole B5 journey. So you have to stay tuned. I'm waiting for when I get that it is time. to write that book, but I have been journaling about everything because there's been highs and lows, good and bad, a lot of lessons learned along that journey, but it has been so impactful. And one of the things that happened on that journey that was unexpected for me, but certainly very clear for him because he gave the assignment, was that that program has literally saved the lives of some of the participants. And for that, what powerful glory and an
Amen.
unexpected outcome. And it just I share the story of the very first testimonial of that because it was the first, and there's been several since then, but the first one was a young lady, a teenager, and um, on her feedback, she was saying that the box was something that she could depend on. She wrote that she goes to it when she's having a bad day, exclamation point. And to put the bow on the package, if you will, her name was not Kim or Pam or Tammy. Her name was Serenity. And
Oh,
her life had been anything but peace until the program. And so that is when I knew that I knew that I knew, right? That you're on that path of walking in purpose, in true purpose, right? That you could have that kind of transformational impact on someone, right? And so when I say be intentional about being tuned in to others that you interact with, that's what it's about. I had no idea until after the fact, right? Um, but we just have to be intentional. We just have to be.
well, when we went through the box and we were talking, I remember very, very distinctly when you were having me read each of the slips that are inside of the box.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really like not understanding in the order in which I chose until I got to the last one. And what I realized was the very thing that I've had the hardest thing overcoming in my life was what I still chose to choose last to speak on. So it was a very pivotal moment for me
Mm-hmm.
to know that I still had some serious healing and some soul searching to do in certain areas of my life. So I say all this to say that really marked like this past year and some months for me, just going into a total self awareness
Mm-hmm.
is starting to change. And it has not been an easy path,
Right.
but it has been so self rewarding. And that is not from an ego point or just selfishness, but it's like I had to start that and I had to be able to be okay with saying no.
Mm-hmm.
I've been a yes girl my entire life, but I was saying yes to things that were not good for me.
Right.
Not even realizing in that moment, thinking I could change other people when I really needed to change myself.
What a lesson.
So it's
And yeah,
so
it's about the
good.
journey, about the journey.
And I just,
Right.
want other people to be able to experience. If you are here tonight, or if you find us on this video once it's saved, make sure you reach out to Pamela McCoy at PamelaMcCoy.com. And if you're open to, starting a self love, self help journey, I highly recommend her program. And she does a lot of things. She's a woman of many, many trades and many, many skills. And she does it in such a loving way. And
Oh,
she's going to check on you when you're not even checking on yourself. And I love that about you. Like you don't give up on people and you just keep going because you do believe and receive that it is your assignment. And I'm so grateful for you. Even though we haven't gotten to spend a lot of time together, I still want to come and do a pop up with you. But I just want everybody to know about you because I
oh,
think
thank
that,
you.
it's worth it. I
Yeah.
think a lot of people don't know how to say I need help or where to start, but
Mm-hmm.
you're easy. and you're
Yes.
open and you're honest and you listen and you're an unbiased person. And I just think that you're a good go-to person for this type of healing and awareness and get them started on a journey and a program that's easy.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. And when we make ourselves a priority, and self-care is a thing, it is a real thing, and it needs to be a priority thing. Because if you're no good, then you can't be good to anyone else. You probably have heard that saying, when people say you can't pour from an empty cup. That's what it's all about. When you're on empty, meaning your heart, your soul, your being is empty, you can't pour into someone else, meaning you can't be of help to someone else. You can't be there for someone else like you may want to or need to be for someone else. If you have ever flown on a plane and you hear the stewardess give the message when the mask comes down, right? Put your mask on first. If you have a small child or an elderly person or someone else who needs your aid, you put your mask on first. And that might seem selfish at first glance, right? Why? I want to save my child. I want to save my mother, my father, my grandma, right? No, the reason why they say that, if you lose consciousness, then you cannot help them, right? That's why you have to put your mask on first if the plane is going down. And the same is true when it comes to our self care. If we don't take care of ourselves, then we cannot take care of someone else, right? If you let your health go, if you're in poor health, then how can you care for other people, right? We've got to make ourselves a priority, and that includes our mental health. Um, and people question self esteem. Self esteem is actually not considered a mental health disorder, it's actually considered a thinking disorder. However, when it goes unaddressed, as it often does because people aren't intentional or think about it in that way, it quickly escalates to anxiety and depression, which are identified mental health disorders, right? And so, if we can address it when it is self esteem, we can prevent it from escalating to a mental health condition, right? And so, it's just a matter of pausing. And I like to say there's so much power in a pause. Any given situation, if we just pause. If you're in the heat of an argument and you just pause, right? You're about to overeat and you just pause.
Oh.
You're in angry and you're angry and you're in, traffic or whatever, and you're about to curse the person out. If you just pause. There's so much power in pause. And so if we just pause and give ourselves a moment, give ourselves some attention, give ourselves a priority, it's not selfish, it is selfless when we care for ourselves. That positions us to be better in a position to care for those that we care about, right? And so we just need to, when we're making that New Year's resolution, at the top of the list needs to be self-care. And self-care is a different definition for each individual, right? Some person, self-care is chilling out at the beach. That would be me. that,
Yeah.
that's just a woosah. Something about the water crashing on the rocks is very relaxing for me. But for someone else, is going to the spa. For someone else, is going on a walk. For someone else, is just taking a nap. For someone, everybody is different. It's no right or wrong. It's what is your thing that gives you that zen, that gives you that peace, that calm, that relaxation, whatever that thing is for you. That's legal. I need to throw that out there.
I mean, so
uh,
if somebody is really thinking about diving in and maybe connecting with you, what is the best way for them to do that? Do you like to do like an assessment or like an intake, or do you think that, and some people may not, they just might want to go straight and order the B5 reaffirm box, or what would you say are the best steps to take in order to, align with you and figure out if you're a good fit?
um, Probably what we could do, I don't do like a formal assessment. Typically, I do workshops and seminars because I don't do a lot of one-on-one consults. I do two things, mind and money, if you will. So on the bona fide side of my business, we do financial capability education and personal money management. So we do workshops and seminars and things like that. And then on the B5 reaffirm side of the business, of course, we focus solely on self-esteem. But both are group type settings, so workshops and seminars. I do very, very, very rarely do I do one-on-one consults. But lucky you, because it's Molly. The listeners of this, and we're just going to do, we'll make up a code, a voucher code, and it'll just be hashtag Molly 121823. That's today's date. If they do, I need at least 10 people, 10 participants. In person is better, but we can do virtual if we need to. But if they get 10 participants for a workshop or a seminar, right, on either side of the business, or it could be a hybrid where we're doing mind and money mixed in together, each is about a half a day. Then if they get 10 participants signing up to do the workshop, then we'll put one together. And the pricing will depend on what we put together. What is the scope of the workshop? But if they get 10 participants, then they will get to attend at no cost. Right?
Awesome.
So we'll get to do, we'll do that. We'll put that out there. And that offer will be good through January. We'll do that through January because I know the holidays and people, are spending and doing the holidays. So we'll make that good through January. We'll make it through January the 12th, the 18th, since today's 8th, we'll give you 30 days. So January the 18th, and let me write that down so I'll know. January the 18th, 24 is the hashtag Molly 121823 is the code. So they can go to my website, PamalaMcCoy.com, and make sure I'm Pamela with 3 A's, aka Pamela with 3 A's, PAMALA, McCoy.com. And if you do the B5 reaffirm or the bonafide DCC.com, all of them will take you to PamalaMcCoy.com. All of my contact information is there, so they can send me an email or they can text me when they have the 10 folks, and then we'll start working out all the details or what have you. But if they email me, they can just put that in the subject line, the hashtag Molly 121823, and I'll know that means that's their voucher code, and we'll just go from there. But I'm hoping that some folks are on board and we can really kind of go on this journey together in 2024, right? Because when you are comfortable, confident in self, you show up in the world different. And when you show up in the world different, everything else has to change. Right?
Amen.
So that's what I want for everyone who's listening tonight, who will listen on the replay, is, make yourself a priority. Invest in you, right? So that you can show up in the world different, and different things will happen because you're different, right? People will look at you different. People will treat you different. Why? Because you will be different.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And the expectation that they have for you will be different because they know I got to come correct, right? That they want nothing but the best for you. And even when it comes to, and we spend time talking about relationships, all kinds of relationships, you were talking about that earlier, your relationship to money, your relationship with friendships, romantic relationships, right? Professional relationships, all kinds of relationships, right? All of them are tied to self. How you think and feel about you, how you show up in the world, dictates how all of those ships will sail in your life. Right?
Absolutely.
And so when the captain is different, those ships have a different course. And so we want those to be different in 2024.
You better preach.
Right? So, I want to give you this gift of self. That's my purpose. My purpose is to give this gift of self. Right?
Well, I'm really grateful for you, and I love you so much. And I know that when we first met, we had talked about maybe even picking a date that we can get some of my people to come, because I need continuums too. I need to stay in this moment, and I need to be reminded every day And I would
Yeah.
love to figure out, we'll figure that out maybe in the
Yeah,
next
we'll
week.
figure
So
something out.
we'll get a
Atlanta's just
date,
a little hop,
get
skip,
us
and
on
jumping
the plane,
away.
and let's make it happen. So
We'll
let's
make it
make
happen in
it
24.
happen. Well, I just
Yes.
love you guys, and I thank you so much for coming on tonight. And you guys go check out Pamela McCoy, and that's PAMALAMCCOY.com. And I know that you will get a good word. You will get inspired, and you will be changed, because she really helped me at a time when she didn't even know, but she knew. So I really appreciate you. I hope you have the best holiday coming up,
Yes.
and we will see you soon on the flip side, sister. And you guys, let's figure out a date, and
Yes.
we can go from there.
All righty. God bless. I will see you guys soon. Thank you again, Molly. My Molly, love you to pieces.
I
And
love
we'll
you
get
too,
together in
sweetheart.
24.
All right. Bye.
All
Merry
righty. See you
Christmas.
later.
Bye bye.